for not releasing documents to Democrats who've been asking questions about people on your staff. Can you explain why you haven't done that, and how do you feel about transparency in general?
I feel so strongly about transparency that we created in the Treasurer's Office the first ever that we know of online transparency portal for government employee salaries and benefits. I say that we know because there might have been one in the past, but we couldn't find another one. And to the best of my knowledge, we've complied with what the Democratic Party has asked. I take transparency very seriously, and I think the Democratic Party and Sherrod Brown are making a mockery of our public record system and using it for a political gain.
To the average voter out there, it seems like there's an awful lot of mud being slung in this race. I mean, why do you think the tone of this campaign, from both sides, has been more negative, and do you think voters are actually getting a true understanding of where you and your opponents stand on different issues?
Mark, I appreciate that question. Sherrod Brown, to your point, has run a completely negative campaign. He's put hundreds of thousands of dollars on television, running a completely negative campaign. The dollars we're spending on our campaign TV ads are completely positive. And here's the question for the people of the state of Ohio. Sherrod Brown has been running for political office since Richard Nixon was president. He's been in Washington for 2 decades. How is it possible that he does not have one good thing to say about his record? Sherrod Brown has been running for political office since Richard Nixon was president, has been in Washington for 2 decades. How is it even possible that he doesn't have one good thing to say about his record? As I've been traveling the state of Ohio for the past 2 days, I keep getting asked that question by people. I was at a transmission shop yesterday in Muskingum County, and this guy comes up to me. We were working on one of the trucks in this transmission shop, and he says, "Hey, I've been watching these ads on TV," and I said, "What do you think?" He said, "Well, I see that you're running all positive ads. I see that you have blue-collar roots, and I see this other guy, he's running all negative ads. Why is that?" And I said, "Because his only path to victory is to tear me down. His only path to victory is to tear me down. And our path to victory is to project a positive vision for how we're going to return the state to economic greatness." And when you read this document, it starts to lay out that plan, and over the next 6 months, we're going to lay it out in more and more detail. But I can tell you, Sherrod Brown has one way to victory in this campaign, and it's to be completely negative, and that's what he's doing. And I know, because I'm traveling the state and I'm looking people eyeball to eyeball, they're sick and tired of people who are in Washington.
Well, there are some who suggest that you don't have to go negative because there's been about $8 million worth of negative ads against Sherrod Brown by groups that support him.
Do you have a question, Joe? Or?
Yeah, the question is, the suggestion is that others are doing your dirty work.
Listen, you know, there are organizations out there who might choose to run ads on their own volition, but you know, we are running our campaign. All we can control is our own campaign, and in what we can control, we're running a positive, upbeat, vibrant campaign. We're talking about my positive vision for the country, and that's what we can control, and we're trying to be as positive and energetic as possible. We're trying to represent a new vision for our state, and Sherrod Brown represents the past. He's been running for political office for 37 years. Where were you 37 years ago?
You know where I was, Josh.
That's where I was as well. There's people in this room that were not even born 37 years ago. He's been running for political office since before I was born. He is part of the past.
Is there some dissonance for you, though, as you stand here and say that while the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is one of the groups that's running a lot of negative ads? Not as, you know, I mean, I understand that the campaign and the PACs are different and separate, but is there any dissonance for you in that?
Well, let me, since we were referenced in that deal, in that question and in the statement, is in this instance, we have highlighted Senator Brown's record. Those are his votes. The document that we use to endorse candidates is called How They Voted. In fact, Josh has a plan. Josh has a plan and Senator Brown has a record. And we're going to hold him accountable for his record on the votes that matter most to our members. Chamber members are the most optimistic people in this country when it comes to job creation. They want to get back on offense. They want to create jobs in this country. And the path to the American recovery will be led by the business community, not the federal government, and not politicians who have been in office for 37 years old. I'm 37 years old. So the point is, the federal government doesn't provide these solutions. We're going to grow our way into the American recovery. We're not going to tax our way to prosperity in this country. So we've held Senator Brown accountable for his votes. We think that that's fair game, and the voters of Ohio will determine how to hold him accountable based on his record and his votes that he's taken. And we don't think that that's negative. We call that factual.
You guys, Josh has to go. If you guys have any further questions for the chamber, Rob will be able to take them to the side.